Hello, everybody. We are here with who I'm just going to call day 4 of Summer Game Fest hands-on impressions. Basically, we have a pile of stuff that we had to hold a little bit to be able to talk about. So we got some more here, and then there's going to be some more separately and later and all of that. So let's get through this batch. First off, we've got Damiani. You checked out Aloft.
Oh yeah, this is a lot.
Yeah.
This was a very lot of information flying at me during this presentation, and which is interesting because while this was revealed in the PC gaming show, I believe, and during was it Xbox, we saw Sundered? What was that one game?
Farah, the Sundered Tribe,
yep.
I believe. Yeah.
There were some similarities between the two, just like Island, where you build a home, the island can move, and it's like gliding.
Flying Island, right?
Yeah, flying island, gliding, gathering resources. I think the difference was there was like a surface, and you could fight like those big like dinosaur monsters in the other one, but Aloft is not. There's combat, but it's not quite the same. So yes, they described it as a sky survival game where you're moving your island using sails, and you go explore other islands, and you are gathering resources to build more things for your island, like build sails so you can even sail anywhere. It's like Animal Crossing where you have to build like your first like construction table so you can even start crafting stuff, and then you go from there. There are these runes scattered all over islands that teach you new blueprints or for skills new blueprints to build important crucial things, and that's how you like learn these blueprints. You can play the single player. You can play with up to 8-player co-op with this. First or third person camera angles you could toggle between. Your like goal, I mean, you can do whatever you want, they said, with your goal, but if you're looking for an actual like objective, you're going across these different islands surrounding a hurricane, they described it, and some of the islands are corrupted, and you have to go over there using the tools you craft, like a hatchet or hammer or whatever, and you got to destroy the core nodes of these corruption on these islands and cleanse them, essentially.
Okay.
And they're like, they're basically the ones I all saw were like in a tree. It was like a tree with vines whipping around, and every so often it would be exposed. You'd attack it. It would keep spawning mobs that would come like fungus, mushroom-looking monsters that come at you. You would attack them. You also had like a bow and arrow that they were using at one point. They also did like say you can make like swords, so they were using a sword at one point as well. When you cleanse it though, not everything's good though. So once you remove the corruption, the ecosystem might not be at full health. So you have to heal the ecosystem, and you have to do that by like planting more like trees or watering things, like basically restoring, the ecosystem back to how it was. And that goes with your crafting and gathering as well. While you can go crafting and gathering, if you kind of like do it too much on a single spot, you're going to damage the ecosystem. Okay. So you also have to give back. But whenever you're gathering or crafting, not only are you going to get the raw materials, you're usually going to get like seeds for those plants or those trees. Yeah. But they're just like, it takes time. It takes time for those things to grow back. So, you might not be able to, stay there too long. Let's see. I've talked about unlocking the blueprints, talking about like the axe, the plants. Tools can also be weapons. There's 3 biomes. They're going to be in early access. In early access, there'll be 3 biomes. You start in like the Emerald Zone, which is the green grassy area you're seeing here now in the footage. There are also more important runes called frescoes. The first one you encountered in the demo they were playing for me taught you the glider recipe to make your glider to fly around. Oh, yeah. And like gliding is all about like, riding the currents, riding updrafts. It's it's supposed to be simple and fun. It's not supposed to be too hectic, it sounds like. It wasn't really like a stamina meter or anything like that. It was more about just like momentum based, like instead of that. You also like got to get like fabrics, like for like the glider, you got to like craft the fabrics. You can also dye and add like patterns to them. So if you want to let's talk about the fighting. You can learn new combat moves after you destroy a node. I think leaping was like the thing. A leaping attack was the first thing.
Love that.
Learned. There's a guidebook that you can pull up that will outline stuff that you need to do to complete to restore an island's ecosystem. So like it's a bit of a checklist. You can also see all the blueprints you have in your guidebook as well. One of the there's like hidden journals with these pages that you can take these pages from, and you can draw any physical item you see on the page, and it'll give you the blueprint. And when you take that back, it's now like a blueprint for making. So if you can't take a physical item with you, it's too big to take back, you can draw it on your page, and now you have the blueprint for it.
Okay.
And you can go back to your home island and craft it. So you don't have to like haul it back, because every physical thing you got to haul back. You can't just like magically transport it. There's also like for sailing on your island, there are these anchors. So there's runes, frescoes, and anchors. And anchors are the third one. Those will teach you how to build sailing items. And you need to set them on your island so that they can catch the wind. You can rotate them, and then you could sail off to, you know, other further away islands if you want to get there faster.
Crazy.
You can also, they were bragging that you could load your island into your friend's game so they could see it, interact with it, go on it, and you know, like, so you don't have to have them come visit. You can just bring it to their world as well if you wanted to like do it that way. As long as you're in their game, it'll just be there. You can fly around, you can do whatever, but like once you leave, it just spawns out of the zone. Yeah, you also need a helm to steer your island. Pretty obvious. You use windmills to power the island. And you need them to turn to give you electricity to power some of the more advanced machines that you're going to do for like building.
Got it.
You can also eventually you'll be able to plant crops, cook your own meals. You can fly through rain clouds to water your crops if you don't, you know. It's
that's interesting.
Yeah. Meals give you like temporary bonuses, stuff like that. And the map, they showed me the whole place. I was seeing all these giant islands that we're flying through. And like, here's this tiny little quadrant on the circular map. That's like one like 25th or whatever. The map. I was like, what? And I was like, all right, that's like, that's massive. So it is a very massive map.
So you do not have to worry too much about the resource depletion as long as you keep moving.
Yeah. And if you die, you just respawn on your home island. I asked, like, what happens if you just let your island fly away and you sail away from it? It just flies into it'll stop. It will just stop if you leave it. And if you die anywhere, that's not like safe.
Actually,
you go
piloting
back.
It looked kind of cool.
Yeah,
it does look really cool.
I mean, it's it honestly Skyward Sword-esque vibes of like going around these like islands and flying across, the skies. But it's definitely got like, the survival, crafting, farming simulator aspect going for it. But I mean, still in development. I mean, some things, obviously it's like an early demo, so like it's still, very early. So you could just usual things you'd expect to see were like, kind of happening here and there. And honestly, you set stuff to your, hot bar, you do have health. And I mean, it seems a little. I don't know how intense it really is because I don't really play a lot of survival games. But like the amount of like information coming at me felt a little intense. So I was like, oh wow, it's a lot to keep up with.
Usually these things just build and build on each other. Yeah,
and they just played. I didn't get hands on, so I wasn't able to actually try it out. So
the home looks so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool concept. And it seems like less intense on like the combat and more about exploration and building, crafting, honestly.
Sweet.
These goats in this little pen.
You can transport the animals back to your home.
You're gonna get no goats stay in a pen like that. Sorry, they're just gonna hop out of that thing.
Blood disproves. It's approved. Sorry.
Nice. Next up, I've got to play a little bit of Hyperlight Breaker.
Hyperlight Breaker.
Which I'm looking forward to, but might take my my game of least connection to from the show. Hardest demo to like gel with in the moment in a demo setting.
Interesting.
All right.
Okay. Very surprising.
Kind of like you're saying with like a lot of these, like there's a lot to it. And
some games just in that situation some games are better suited for that type of demo situation.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
than others.
And
just the way it is. Just the way it is.
It's just the way it is. And if you don't remember the descriptions of this game, it's like roguelike essentially, where like the whole world will like auto regenerate if you die like 5 times. Basically, that's what they say. So if you die,
5 lives.
you go back to the city, but then if you die 5 times, then the whole world gets rewritten. And so the starting points and like what you're first going to encounter and bosses and stuff like that, you're going to be looking at a different world, same general like types of areas, but the layout is going to change. And I think the reason I had a hard time gelling with this, there were basically 2 main things. One was that the demo that they had did not have an option to invert camera.
Oh no.
And so like I with enough time like I can get used to it, but like in this situation like a little
Here
bit
we
more
go.
high stakes, high
So
pressure.
you're saying it's an operator error?
I mean, if you were playing with inverted controls, what would you say?
So it's like if they made me play Final Fantasy 14 with mouse and keyboard, I'd rage.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. But then the other thing what I'm saying is like if I were just here's a level, go wander around, that stuff I was fine with. But it was like it was very quickly go wander around, get a key, and then do this boss fight. And it was like it's not just the boss, but it was
So they
a
threw
boss
you
that
in-
had a ton of ads.
They threw you into the lion's den.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so I'm like,
that's-
I'm trying to learn
yeah.
parry windows on the boss while some flying thing is shooting at me and some other thing is coming around the back. And it's like, all right, dude.
They got blood.
Got him.
They made him
Got him
flesh.
good.
But there is, there is, it is the same world as Hyper Light Drifter, but it's like,
3,000 years later or something.
or earlier, it seems like,
Okay.
actually. And
Classic.
there's multiplayer stuff. It's a full, like, 3D behind the person camera rather than a 2D game. And then there's, like, a lot of stuff going on, like, with, like, your loadouts. You've got, like, a little flying guy there. You've got, like, different guns, different melee weapons. Different class perks. You've got like 4 perk slots to like put like artifacts and things into, and they have these things called amps, which are kind of like one of the simpler ones is just like a grenade. But then I found like another one that's like it basically like drops a giant like stone block on an enemy, so it's kind of like a
Efficient.
big AOE. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big AoE. I like it.
Gara.
Use R2 to dash.
Sand pyramid.
You
Sand
can
pyramid.
hold it to use your hoverboard. I was getting wrecked by some snails. There were like these snails that would basically get on their sides and like spin at you and like explode and stuff.
Get wrecked.
Yeah,
Were they-
get wrecked by some snails.
Were they fast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fast
It
snail.
was also fast, but like they would just sort of be there for a little bit, and when they would like get up and go, that like that's I think that's the thing. That's the acceleration that like will catch you off guard. It's like, oh, now he's just coming at me. Like, yeah, it's a little tricky to predict their movements. At least just getting used to them. And yeah, like the whole thing is like tied into like a curse that like won't let you die permanently, and so that's why you keep coming back. But yeah, so one of these things where I think we're gonna get a little bit more of an extended demo later on.
Yeah.
To put some more time into it, get a better feel for things.
Well, how's the roguelite progression, man? It's one of the most
like,
important things.
Exactly. Like
You can't even.
There's,
in a
well, I mean,
demo-
you do start out in like this town.
Yeah.
So like you get to go up to different shops, and try out different weapons and things like that.
Yeah.
So want to see more.
Want to
Okay.
see more.
All
Not
right, yeah,
quite
I'm still
ready
curious.
to know how I feel about it yet.
Also, co-op's a big part.
Co-op is a big
yeah,
part.
Co-op,
Yeah.
the long-term progression, co-op. That's the sell for me. Need to see how that stuff plays out. Blood. How
Yep.
did just the basic combat feel, even though you were not inverted?
But
controls?
yeah, I think that's the thing. It was just
it
like
was just hard for you to.
getting
vibe
parry
it.
windows down and
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
just getting more time with it. I think will help.
Yeah.
But
Chill. It's still on my radar, Blood.
yep. You know what else is on your radar?
Huh.
Monster trucks.
Yes, dude.
Huber
Monster
was
Jam.
so stoked.
This was my most
Oh
anticipated
my.
game to play.
Monster
Really?
Jam Showdown.
Because it is like one of those ones where it's just like, hey, this is a perfect game to play at an event like this. You know what I mean?
this
Just
one,
you play a couple
yeah.
races, like easy to get into.
Dude, visual fidelity.
Yeah. It looks really nice. What surprised me the most about it was that it's pretty difficult to control this beast.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
They got to be hard to
Yeah.
handle, man.
So like turns, it is so easy to spin out. It is incredibly easy, and then you start to overcorrect, and you just start wobbling like woo, woo, woo. But yeah, it felt really nice. You really feel the weight
Yeah.
of this big monster truck. We got to play a couple different modes. We had the traditional races, which were absolutely chaotic because there's like 8 giant monster trucks or so slamming into each other. It was funny because I've played racing games my whole life, and what do you do in racing games? You try to avoid things.
Yeah.
But in this game,
You're hitting.
you want to smash things. That'll give you your boost
That's
gauge.
awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I like it's cardboard cutouts of treasure.
yeah.
Yeah.
This footage is actually a boss fight. One-on-one
this
duel
is-
with this pirate
like Crash
monster
Team
truck.
Racing, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the monster trucks have their own style. They they all look really, really cool.
Yeah,
so
and
you'll
these are
find
like
one
the
you
real
love.
deal, like Gravedigger and all that are in there.
Yeah, so
There's like what was that one that you just hated immediately? The ice cream man.
the ice cream man, dude. It's like an ice cream truck, and even the dev was like, "Yeah, we hate that one." It's just like, freaking ice cream man. It was the eight player or so race, the boss mode, and then there was like a point mode where you were in an enclosed environment and you had to go off like ramps and
Yeah.
collect.
The thing with the
score.
boss fight too, because like I actually won the race in the one-on-one, but it's
Yeah,
a
Blood was immediately
combination
pro.
of position and points. So even though I won the race, I didn't have enough points, and I got second.
All right.
Which
So-
I don't know if that's annoying yet or not. I would need to play
Hey.
through the game and progress through stages because that's
Hey,
I don't know.
rewards
This
you
was a
for
great
playing the
stage.
game well. Like
True.
objectives over
Yeah.
the PvP part. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, then like drifting is really key because you're building your score and your multiplier.
Yeah.
But like I said, and I really want to sell the fact that it is tricky.
Yeah, so you have to really like get these turns down. So like I
Yeah.
was kind of like essentially like pumping the gas, so like not hard on the gas the whole time, but just like pump, 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 pump through
Yeah.
a turn. And I was getting it down pretty well. And like when we did the split screen race, like I was
Yeah.
out in front for a good while.
Oh, yeah, that was
and then I
fun.
came around like close to the last turn.
Good blood, just
and I just
humble
got
bragging.
hung up right in these logs, man. And the stupid school bus.
School bus.
Stupid school bus.
Reminded me of Cruising USA. One of my
Higher
favorites.
education.
Higher Education's the name of the school bus. Incredible. One of my favorite things to do of all time growing up was play split screen Cruising USA. I would be the school bus. My brother would be a fast car, and I would just ram everyone off the road. So I was definitely getting that energy in this. Split screen worked perfectly. There's a world map for stages. This is a great game.
Yeah. It's August 29th.
Perfect.
It's $50. It's on previous gen as well as current gen.
Ah.
It's got crossplay on everything but Switch. 66
Switch
trucks.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a big game.
Holy crap. 66 trucks.
140 plus different liveries, like the designs, paint jobs, and stuff that are on there. 7 different modes.
7 different modes. I want like the traditional, like let me crush some cars, monster truck.
There was something I didn't mess with this, but they were saying something about using the right stick to like control
The back tires.
wheels,
Yeah.
independently of the front wheels.
Yeah.
4-wheel drive.
And then
Yeah, I
they
think that would
also, if
help
like
with-
you're in the air, that you can use that to kind of like tilt your car.
Yeah.
To get it like lined up with the ground and not flip out.
It's hardcore, dude. There's
Oh,
definitely
the
a skill.
paneling! I don't know if you saw it in the B-roll.
They showed some, yeah.
Yeah, the paneling, the way it rips off and flaps around is
destruction,
so
yeah.
freaking
Nice.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the like first things I noticed when Huber was playing.
Yeah, because I was slamming into a lot of walls and destroying my car very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is we didn't say this earlier because we've talked about it in the past, But it's the same. It's Milestone. It's the same developer that's done the Hot Wheels games.
Yeah,
So-
good pedigree.
Yeah.
Yes, the Hot Wheels Unleashed specifically.
Yep.
So really, really sick stuff.
Yeah.
I can like hear the old Monster Jam commercials from the 90s like in my head.
Sunday.
Monster Jam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I was saying too. Is like, are these things
Story
even
to drum,
built
man.
to turn?
Gotta
Like,
get
I feel like
ducks
they're
and
just built
pay.
to go straight forward and like crush cars.
Yeah.
That's my perception.
Yeah.
Racing is a little crazy,
Yeah.
but fun. Huber,
Yo.
you got to play a game that we've been very curious about.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to understand how this work, how this gameplay loop is. Kunitsu-Gami.
Oh, here we go.
Path
yeah.
of
I also played
Goddess.
this actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Should Isla come in here so we can talk about
Yeah,
it with
if
each
I
other?
I
can
will.
get in here.
You
Yeah,
start and then I'll come in.
Okay. Yeah. This is from Cap Gods. The best in the biz, Capcom. I love a new IP.
Yeah.
Love a new IP.
Especially when you mistake it for an old IP.
Exactly, not Onimusha. And it is extremely. This game is so weird, but also like.
It's so weird.
It's so weird, but also you can be like, oh, it's like tower defense-ish. Oh, it's like hack and slash.
Sorta.
Okay, yeah, it's like borrowing elements
Placing
from games.
AoEs.
But the
This game is especially weird when you just walk up to it at a press event
Yeah.
and no one says a word to you.
Nobody.
I was standing next to
Unguided
Phil
demo.
fucking Spencer.
Yeah.
Just playing not Onimusha.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do I do?
Yeah, what even
and
is
no one
going
told
on?
me. There was no, like, the tutorial was just like the buttons.
Yeah.
And so, like, it took me, I was like, there was like a boss that came out of this Torii gate or
That thing was
whatever.
intense.
Yeah. And I was like, because I had seen the trailers and I was like, okay, I know there's
Yeah.
like a setup phase.
Yeah.
But this thing just came out and I'm like, okay, do I fight it or am I
Yeah.
supposed to like set up, you
Fight
know?
it. Dodge.
Well,
was
and
key.
like halfway through, I was like, okay, I guess I just fight it.
Yeah.
So I fought
Thing's
it.
nuts.
But then I noticed there are villagers there, and you can assign roles to the villagers,
Which I
Right.
love.
and then you can issue commands. So like with the controls they had there was right bumper to enter command mode, and then it's like attack here or defend here.
Yeah.
And so then, since it dumped you into a battle for the demo we played, you know, you just kind of say like, okay, attack this thing. And there's like a normal attack and then a dance attack,
Yeah,
which I
love
thought
this.
was beautiful.
So, like,
and
combos.
cool. Yeah.
And it's really strong. So like a
Yeah.
square triangle would be like a AoE or like a
And you can kind of chain them.
yeah, chaining
Okay.
things, single target versus like, okay, this helps for like a bunch of little
Gotcha.
trash mobs.
Yeah, the dance moves rip through these little trash
Yeah.
mobs.
And when you kill things, boxes, you get the orbs, and that's how you upgrade your villagers.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I was like maxed out on orbs the whole time, and I'm like, how do I use these orbs, dude?
gosh.
And the
Okay.
game was like, you can keep collecting orbs, but you won't take out the more than the maximum to the
so
to the
funny.
overworld or whatever. And I was like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
That's so funny. Yeah, because the villagers,
Damn it.
the villagers are like freaking alien cocoon, in their freaking
Yeah.
like corruption. So you free them, and then I think if you like you do something, I forget, you talk to them or you like click on them or however the hell, and you can assign them a job. So woodcutter,
yeah, I did that.
Woodcutter has an axe. It was 50.
Okay.
And
Oh, okay. I just didn't know that costed orbs.
Oh,
that
yeah,
cost
yeah, yeah.
orbs. Okay.
So they were 50.
So I was assigning them
Perfect.
roles. Yeah.
Because
Okay,
they
I
were
did
50,
that.
but then the like magic class was 150.
Okay.
So like figuring out, which
Gotcha.
class to build.
But once you assign
and
them a role, they're that.
they're that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then after you beat that first boss in the demo we played, then it takes you to another area, and you're leading this goddess who you can see dancing there in the footage we're playing. And this map was like a big long road with a couple of staircases off the side of it and a few like raised platforms. And we had introduced to us a new villager type called Archer. So I set up an Archer on either side of the thing,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, you guys attack, and you can tell them like attack this area,
Good strategy.
Yeah, and like that was my favorite part, like lining up
So fun.
I could tell how this is gonna get really crazy.
Yeah.
You know what this just hit me, but it sort of reminds me of Deception in a weird way, where you like spend the time to set stuff up, make your plan kind of.
Yeah.
There's gadgets on the field, like a spirit gate where they can't come through unless they've done enough damage to it, and you can have a villager repair it, but it'll cost resources, and take time. If your guys get hurt, you can like kind of do stuff to try to help them. Yeah, I don't
really
know.
liked-
It was kind of fun.
I really like there's a world map kind of thing when you beat a level, and it was really cool because it's like tracking the journey down the mountain.
Yeah.
You're like going on the levels, you know,
trying to
and
get her
it's
back
sick.
down.
And then
yeah.
in between the levels, I loved because she sets up her sick little tent.
Yeah.
And you can go into the tent and like talk to her, and there's like little cutscenes, and then you can like there's some like upgrade options in there.
Yeah.
So I really like that like in between.
Kind of got Neo
stuff.
vibes,
Yeah.
like with all the ghosts or the spirits
Yeah.
and stuff.
This game I feel like is going to be super niche.
Yeah.
But if you are intrigued and you like this stuff, especially tower defense and strategy, I think are
Yeah.
the two core pillars. Fighting also felt good. So
Fighting felt good.
You do have that like
And it-
action combat vibe.
That's good, yeah.
But
Yeah.
not like, I mean, maybe it gets like complicated later with a bunch of like combos and special moves, and maybe you get different weapons or something. I don't know. Probably not, I guess. But like, it felt fun but simple enough.
Yeah.
And like,
Also, when she's getting attacked, I felt horrible.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh
But-
my god.
and I
Save her.
think it's balanced out because you can like mid combat be like, oh, you guys go over there, defend her, you
Yeah.
know, and like
Right.
and the paths have, even though like the main path was like one big road, it'll have little paths off through the woods on the sides or whatever that the little mobs will go through. So you're kind of always like running around, keeping your eyes on the map, everything, and where your guys are and how they're doing. So like even though combat itself was like a couple of buttons and a jump,
yeah.
you're running all over the place because things are getting past you
Yeah.
and like
you're trying to free more villagers.
you're trying to free
get
more
them in the
villagers.
fight.
Well, and also like one of the parts of the prep was if you explore around, you could find
Yeah.
these like cocooned weird things, and sometimes they would give you orbs, but sometimes they would be a villager.
Yeah.
And you free them ahead of time.
Essential.
And it was nice because it told you how many there were on the map. So it was like, you've got 3 out of the 5. So once you got 5, you unlocked this little shrine that gave you a little boost for it was like villagers have heightened attack in this region or something like that. I can't remember. But I enjoyed it. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't
sick.
know what it's going to cost, but like, this seems like a cozy, fun,
Yeah.
weird little game. And if you like, light strategy, light combat that probably gets real hectic
Yeah.
down the line.
It's very well made.
Yeah, it felt solid.
Very solid.
Cap gods, they're just
Yep.
like, hey, we had this weird idea.
Weird
and we're
idea,
going to
new
execute
IP.
it perfectly.
Love it.
That's Capcom.
Yep.
Nice.
Sick. Sounds
What
good.
also is Capcom is Street Fighter.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah. this is a
Huber
quickie.
got to play with Bison a little bit.
Oh
Like
man.
two rounds. I'm terrible at Street Fighter. I hardly even touched Street Fighter 6. I just was busy and I couldn't afford it at the time. And I got to use Bison because that's immediately what I did. Bison versus Akuma. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
And,
Nice.
I was just doing my sick ass Psycho Crusher.
Psycho Crusher.
Psycho
Yeah.
Crusher.
There were multiple skins I saw where he had the classic
Yep.
Bison look,
The
but then
dictator
also
outfit.
the badass, like, punished Bison.
Yeah.
I mean, Bison's always punished. But it's like punished Bison with, like, the cloak or whatever.
Dude,
It's so
The
cool.
Trailer.
I
So
know.
I saw the trailer.
He looks so
The
cool.
movie nod.
Yeah.
The Raul Julia painting nod. They made a nod to it. I mean, everyone called it out, but like, I
wasn't
mean, everyone
so
knows
long.
it. But like,
Yeah.
that was like, they're just having so much fun with this game.
Yeah.
And like from a story perspective, because I didn't understand who it was at first when we saw the reveal, but in the VO,
Yeah.
Bison says like, I will take that name Bison or whatever. Like he had like amnesia or something. So I don't know what's going on. He's like rediscovering his powers, and it's like,
Sick.
is he gonna like fully power up at some point? But
Yeah.
dude, like the moveset just looks sick because
Yeah,
it's
it
like
was fun.
hints of like his old stuff, but like a few new tricks thrown
Yeah.
in, and his like aerial game, all his weird, I forget the proper name, but all his like toe tap jumps that go into like the weird mix ups and stuff. It's just like disgusting looking.
Yeah, it looked amazing. I'm terrible, so I'm staying in my lane. I can't really comment on the hardcore fundamentals of a Street Fighter character
Yeah, of
like I maybe
course.
could in Mortal Kombat or something, but just hopping right in, playing as Bison. Felt great. I love Bison. So,
Very nice.
yeah.
For this next one, I want to get Don in here. So hopefully I was back.
Did you
One
get-
second.
Did you hear the music
done.
at all?
No.
No, okay, I was
Sorry.
curious.
No,
I mean, they played it in the trailer, so like I heard it, but I didn't know if there's anything else. That's all. But yeah, Bison is a menace, man.
yeah.
Come sit down, Don, because I am here to tell you about Yars Rising.
Yars.
You know, like we've been skeptical of this.
Yars.
We've been like, what the heck is going? Why? How does?
Oh yeah.
Atari and
How does this
WayForward,
become
baby.
a Metroidvania with a girl in it? And all
Yeah,
this
Break
stuff?
this
So
down
sick.
for me, blood.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
So first of all, like they brought like the Yars Revenge cards
Yars.
with them.
Okay.
Yeah. But here's something I didn't know, because like when I played Yars back in the day as a kid, like our Atari cartridges came from garage sales, right? Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't have original
Sick.
packaging. I didn't have instruction manuals.
You just had the cartridge.
He was like, "Did you know that the original game came with a comic book?" And I'm like, "I did not know." And so the comic book has all this lore and stuff, and like they're like referencing this stuff. Like they're like approaching this as like canon.
Awesome.
Why wouldn't
It's
they?
wild. There's like all of this like stuff in there, all of these references, and that's why like a lot of the cutscenes are like more of a comic book style, because they're trying to emulate the original comic there. And yeah, you play this as this girl who her call sign as a hacker is
Prefer to be called a hacker.
This is Linux system. I know this.
I know this.
her call sign is Yar, and she's got this group of other hackers that she works with, and you're going in and you're hacking this big mega corporation or whatever, and they catch her. And then you have to find a way out, and you crawl through these air vents, and you start hacking this other terminal. And this terminal, the hacking mini game, is like the original Yars Revenge.
Oh, okay.
But it's
cool.
a simpler version of it at first.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is the further you get into the game,
Which that was like a super quick shot of it they showed. Just
yeah,
a
they
couple,
show
right?
like some quick shots in there.
Yeah.
The further you get into the game and hacking more terminals, the more advanced it gets, and the more it is kind of like the original Yars, like putting in all of the different elements of it.
What a cool take on that. That is such a smart way to approach it. And so, but you're saying the character was from the comic book? She's actually in...
I think she's not necessarily
Or
her
that-
in the comic
but that
book, but they're saying it's like it all kind of builds up to where like it all connects, right?
Okay.
It's all connected.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, so you hack this terminal just trying to like find a way out, right? Because you've got this
robot
guarding you in this cell,
Okay.
and once you
Find a way out.
once you finish hacking, it alters her DNA. So that's why she can shoot the shots, because the hacking terminals in this corporation allow her to do this stuff. And so that's how you get all of your different powers in the Metroidvania. So it's this back and forth between hacking and getting new abilities and moving through the world. And then they kind of jump me forward a little bit to where like you're going through the city, and now the city is getting overrun by the bugs. Like,
Okay.
Yeah. you like the thing from the box art, like, oh, you're shooting a bug or whatever. There's this sort of like a skill equipment thing. So it looks like the pixels of the original Yar thing that you
Okay.
recognize. And all of these different kinds of perks and stuff that you have for like faster shots or like gravity to pull items into you or different like health upgrades. And there's like tons and tons of these things. They come in these like different block shapes, almost like little Tetris blocks that you slot into the different parts of the Yars pixels.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
That's neat.
they implemented that in there.
Oh, that's cool. What about these wings? So you have the wings that I see here using very briefly, right?
Yeah,
You just
so
use
this
it as
is-
like a sort of like a Yoshi hover kind of
Yes,
thing, or what?
not exactly. So it's kind of like a dragonfly jump. So you jump and then you push up and jump again, and then you can kind of fly upwards.
And that's something you can obviously probably progress on the skill tree, I
Yeah.
guess. Okay.
There's also this kind of what they call like a dragonfly shot, which is like it looks like a kind of like a sparkler or whatever. It's like an orange ball, but when you shoot it, you then control it. So you lose control of
Oh.
your character, but you control it and guide it
Cool.
to hit a boss or whatever. There's also some wall jumps that you get eventually, a dash, like an absorb thing, to where like you can like absorb certain enemies or absorb shields off of things. You've got these like little vacuum cleaner robots that are in the early part of the game where you're still in the facility. And what else is? Oh, they've got like 20 different music artists from all around the world.
Oh, wow.
Mixing like retro and contemporary styles in the soundtracks.
Sweet.
And then I fought like a flying soldier guy, and then I fought. You see in the trailer this spider lady who like extends her legs out to you, and then she'll wrap herself in like her webbing, like create a cocoon around herself, so that you can't damage her with her normal shots. So you have to like jump
Oh, there
and then
she
wall
is.
jump and then shoot a missile to knock out the webbing. But then she'll also like drop eggs that spawn like
Ugh,
little spiders.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Gross. Spider sacks.
But yeah, so like
How killer. I love it. Well, that's good news. It was so abstract, and to tie it in as a hacking game, it would be interesting to see the Yars. The original Yars is probably completely included in there in some form as the hacking. But just them fully fleshing out these titles, like them
so cool.
expanding it to this
Yeah.
level is, I love it.
love when they do
expand
that.
not just the lore, but the world.
yeah.
From these concepts that were so basic decades ago.
And because the hacking is like, that shooter game kind of thing, it's like
brilliant.
there's some challenge to, to getting it right. So
What a neat thing. I'm super pumped to try this then. And just the general movement felt pretty good, I guess, then. It looks like it feels okay.
yeah. Like maybe not the tightest
bouncing around.
Metroidvania controls ever, but
Okay.
like it feels good for sure.
Cool. I'm looking forward to checking this out. Hats off to Atari. After Lunar Lander and this, they're really going all out on some of these ancient titles, like really giving them their due.
Yeah.
It's really sweet. Sick.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Stick there for a second because that's the last one we got for today.
Heck yeah.
We've got more coming though. We're gonna shoot. So thank you for checking us out for all of the Summer Game Fest stuff. If you would like to keep all this stuff going, we are only able to do this because of wonderful people just like you who
Yes.
decided to drop a few bucks in there, put a few dollars in the bucket. So go to patreon.com/easyallies. Consider becoming a member, and we've got all kinds of perks there, from getting our podcast early to getting little fan mails from us every month. And so go over there and check that out. And thank you for watching.